Our first question for you is a word that I first ever heard come out of your mouth on another podcast. It's hyperbitcoinization. Could you define what that word is, why you've kind of identified that as your personal mission, and what the major dominoes are to realizing that goal?
Yeah, hyperbitcoinization is really the process of demonetization of all fiat currencies and Bitcoin becoming the global de facto reserve value system for the world. And so hyperbitcoinization, and also when I say this is the definition, this is a term that this industry invented. Different people have slightly different takes on it, but to us, hyperbitcoinization means 100% adoption of Bitcoin, 100% penetration of Bitcoin. Every transaction that happens in the world, even in the solar system, because we think Bitcoin is beyond just Earth, it happens on top of the Bitcoin value system. So we got a long ways to go before we get there, but that's the mission, that's the goal, and we're all in until we get there.
Yeah, in one of our recent podcasts with Brandon, who you work directly with, we got into a little bit of Bitcoin in space. So I encourage people to go listen to that episode to realize some of the details that would entail.
Yeah, so the easiest way to convert, if someone's a space fan, they're very easy to convert to Bitcoin because you just have to ask them, what's going to be the monetary policy of Mars? And very quickly it becomes apparent that Washington, D.C. should not be setting monetary policy of another planet. So,
well, I don't want to get too out on a limb here, but Mars is 12.5 light minutes away. And from a mining perspective, how do we solve that?
Yeah, okay. So, that is a deep conversation. But yeah, the center of hash, man. I'm guessing you must have read the Bitcoin in what is it? The Unchained Capital Bitcoin in space.
I have not read that. We did talk about it with Brandon, and that's a point that I brought up. But yeah, I'm interested to hear your take on it.
Yeah, no. So conceptually, you have what's called the center of hash, and so basically, block propagation time is based on proximity to where the hash rate is. So in theory, depending on where the mining rigs are manufactured, where the actual hash rate is being derived from, if it's happening from resources that are on Mars, over time the center of hash would move in proximity to the place that had the most hash rate. So you could have basically mining happening in space, not on the planet, because you're right, the block times are too long for the speed of light. So it starts happening in space. And then little by little, it gets stretched further and further into space, where all of a sudden, maybe the center of hash is in between Earth and Mars. And then, you just kick off an economics game. If the economy of Mars becomes bigger, if it has more energy resources and more manufacturing capacity of the mining rigs, then it actually become unproductive to mine on Earth. So there's very interesting game theory there.
That's the ultimate downfall of Earth, is when the center of hash becomes on Mars.
That's right. So there's a really deep article about needing to have the only purpose for another blockchain to exist is one in which the block times are much longer, because block propagation is basically your geographical limit at the speed of light of how many people can adopt your currency. So like if we colonize other solar systems, we're going to need a block time of like 2 weeks. So that way anything that can, mine a block or propagate a block within a 2-week radius can be mining on the same network. And so you'll have like, Bitcoin's the 10-minute block time. That's like Earth, near solar system, etc. Then you might need to have like, let's call it Sol Coin, which is going to be the blockchain for, our galaxy, okay, and it has like a 2-week block time, and then like, galaxy to galaxy, you're going to need a blockchain for that. So maybe we have another one that has a 1-year block time, and so they all do SHA-256 mining, and then they all nest into each other. So Bitcoin nest into Solcoin, Solcoin nest into the next one. So there's some really wild ideas out there. Very few people are exploring them. Highly recommend reading this article.